Listen to me very carefully.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at movies where a main character is left with an impossible decision that's bound to have consequences either way. This list is one spoiler after another, so proceed with caution.
You gonna leave me again?
Never.
Number 10. Kidnapper or neglectful mother, gone baby gone.
If we don't catch the abductor by day 1, only about 10% are ever solved. This is day 3.
Ben Affleck's directorial debut presents more ethical dilemmas than your average kidnapping thriller. In a twist, the kidnapper is more sympathetic than the child's mother. Captain Jack Doyle conspired in little Amanda's kidnapping, but he's been taking good care of her. Although he committed a serious crime, Doyle is still more nurturing than Amanda's neglectful mother, Helene. Nevertheless, PI Patrick Kenzie concludes that Amanda needs to return. This decision costs Patrick his girlfriend, and he can't even take satisfaction in knowing he did the right thing. Although Helene loves her daughter, she learns little from the experience, and the cycle of neglect is bound to continue. Watching over Amanda, Patrick realizes he's not the only one who must live with this choice forever.
Give us your feeling. Helene, the whole world wants to know what you're feeling right now.
Number 9. A Rock and a Hard Place, 127 Hours.
But I know a better way. The cool way.
Based on the true story of Aaron Ralston, our protagonist gets his arm stuck between a boulder and a wall in Blue John Canyon. Nobody knows where Ralston is, and he's likely to expire by the time somebody stumbles across him. Ralston's only options are to either accept the canyon as his gravesite or say goodbye to his arm. Even when his arm is beyond the point of salvaging, it's far from an easy call. Ralston ultimately goes through with the amputation, but he still runs the risk of bleeding out or dying from dehydration. The loss of his arm might have been for nothing were it not for a family that found Ralston, leaving the audience on a hopeful note.
I need help!
Number 8. Death or Life as a Zombie, Shaun of the Dead.
Don't say that. What? That? What? That? The Z word, don't say it.
Just as a person changes into a zombie, Shaun of the Dead is a movie that transforms before our eyes. What starts as a zombie satire evolves into the real deal by the third act. This change culminates in a choice as the gang finds that Shaun's mother has been bitten.
Mum, what's wrong?
I didn't want to be a bother.
She soon takes her last breath before becoming part of the outbreak. Trapped in the Winchester with her, David insists that finishing off Shaun's mother is the only way to ensure their survival.
Don't point that gun at my mum!
Shaun!
Although it's hard to argue with David's reasoning, we understand why Shaun would have reservations about shooting his mum, zombie or not. Shaun concedes that David is right, doing the deed himself. It's terrifying, tragic, and yet still a comedy.
I love you too, man.
Number 7. A TwoFace Joke, The Dark Knight.
Never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy.
Harvey Dent tries making his own luck with a two-headed coin, but control is an illusion. The Joker's forces kidnap Gotham's White Knight along with his girlfriend, Rachel Dawes. With both being held at different locations set to explode, Batman is caught in the middle.
Choose between one life or the other. Your friend, the district attorney, or his blushing bride-to-be.
The Clown Prince of Crime gives the Dark Knight a sadistic choice: save the woman he loves or preserve Gotham's future. Showing just how far we've come since the Schumacher days, our hero can't solve this dilemma with a batarang. Batman chooses Rachel, but as a twisted punchline, Joker reverses the addresses. The police fail to reach Rachel while Batman saves Harvey, although the DA's faith in the system goes up in flames along with his beloved, and half his face.
It's alright, listen.
Number 6. Challenging a canon event, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Wait, what are you upset about? I saved those people.
And that's the problem.
Achieving balance is part of being Spider-Man. This can range from juggling work and crime fighting to choosing between Mary Jane and or a tramcar of young hostages. Tragedy is another inevitability of being Spider-Man. At least that's what Miles Morales is told. With his father set to die upon becoming captain, Miles insists that he can save him. In doing so though, he risks unraveling his universe along with the multiverse as a whole.
That's how the story's supposed to go. Canon events are the connections that bind our lives together.
It's a decision that carries astronomical weight, but Miles doesn't waste much time making up his mind. He's resolute on preventing his father's death, even if it's him against the Spider-Verse. That's essentially the case, as virtually every Spider Society member tries to stop Miles from doing his own thing.
Everyone keeps telling me how my story is supposed to go. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
Number 5. Finish it now, or wait for the inevitable, The Mist.
It's death.
The Mist might have faded into the library of Stephen King adaptations if it weren't for a gut-wrenching decision our hero is forced to make. That said, this is the definition of a downer ending, which we can't help but admire the film for. Out of gas, the 5 remaining survivors can either surrender to the surrounding mist or go out on their own terms. With only 4 bullets left, David Drayton shoots the others, which includes his son. Accepting fate, David goes outside and waits for the end. As the mist clears though, David sees the crisis is over with the army coming to the rescue. Had David waited a little bit longer, or left the supermarket earlier like another survivor, this choice could have been avoided entirely. Number 4. Ending the suffering, $1 Million Baby.
If I stop calling you boss, will you train me?
No.
What starts as an uplifting underdog story immediately changes gears when Maggie is paralysed during a boxing match. The third act of $1 Million Baby isn't about Maggie overcoming the odds or finding a new purpose in life. As her condition worsens, Maggie becomes convinced that she died in the ring, asking her trainer and surrogate father Frankie to end things.
I'm asking.
I can't.
Although Frankie is initially reluctant, he's convinced after Maggie pursues a more painful alternative. Frankie puts Maggie to sleep, but he must carry the burden for the rest of his days. Leaving his coaching days behind, Frankie has little left to live for. The only glimmer of hope is that Frankie might reconnect with his biological daughter. Maggie's fate is still destined to haunt him.
I'll never quit. I like the stink too much, I guess.
Number 3. Terminating the Terminator, Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Over the course of 2 movies, we go from being horrified by one T-800 to crying for another. With the T-1000 thwarted, only one loose end remains. To ensure Judgment Day doesn't occur on August 29, 1997, the T-800 reveals that he too must be destroyed.
There's one more chip. And it must be destroyed also.
Unable to self-terminate, the T-800 tells John and Sarah that they must lower him to his molten grave. John protests letting go of his father figure, but he understands what must be done.
I know now why you cry. But it's something I can never do.
Of course, if we take the other sequels into account, this either leads to Judgment Day simply being postponed, or John dying at the hands of another Terminator. Why don't we just pretend the series ends with this perfect goodbye? Give a thumbs up if you agree. Number 2. A City for a City, Failsafe.
It's my decision and I take full responsibility.
Released not long after the Cuban Missile Crisis, this Cold War thriller centers on a US aircraft mistakenly given orders to bomb Moscow. Unable to stop the aircraft, the US president must prove that this was an accident. The only way to do this is for America to drop another nuclear bomb on New York.
We've got to stop war, not limit it. That is not up to us, General Black.
The loss will be devastating, but by trading one city for another, an all-out nuclear holocaust may be avoided. Making matters even more personal, the First Lady is visiting New York. General Black, who's tasked with bombing the Big Apple, also has a family down below. New York is obliterated with war presumably being averted, although nobody would call this a success, putting the fail in failsafe. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Only one, Sophie's Choice.
I lied because, you know why? I was afraid. I was afraid I would be left alone.
This might seem like an obvious choice for our top spot, but the choice Sophie's given at Auschwitz is anything but. Arriving with her son and daughter, Sophie tells an officer that she isn't Jewish or a communist. Just when it appears her family might be spared, the Nazi tells her to choose between her children.
Zwingen Sie mich nicht zu wählen. Ich kann nicht wählen.
Ich schicke Sie beide darüber.
Nicht wählen.
Nehmen Sie beide Kinder weg.
In his eyes, this is merciful. In reality, it's arguably more monstrous than having no choice. Sophie reluctantly chooses her son, as his odds of surviving the camp are better. While we never see what happens to him, it's strongly suggested that Sophie is her family's only surviving member. That's not to say her choice didn't matter. From that moment to her dying day, Sophie must live with the fact that she chose. And that's our list. Which impossible choice keeps you lying awake at night? Let us know in the comments below.
And you know what? I believe in Harvey Dent.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.